Our partners at NOLA.com say he's accused of giving inmates a blanket and a shirt, and then they used those to scale a razor wire fence during their escape. His bond is the highest.
It has been more than a week since the infamous jailbreak at the Orleans Justice Center. 5 inmates have been caught and 5 others remain on the run. And while investigators continue to search across the New Orleans metro to find them, they're arresting several people for allegedly helping these inmates after the escape. Good evening and thanks so much for watching. I'm Whitney Miller. Tonight, 2 more alleged accomplices are facing charges, and that brings the total number to at least 9, and we're learning more about their cases. Our Rachel Hanley starts tonight's coverage.
Yeah, 9 days out, the number of escaped inmates arrested is standing still, but the number of people arrested because they're suspected of helping them keeps going up. Saturday, we found out 2 more people had been arrested on accomplice charges. Lenton Van Buren Sr. was arrested Friday. His relationship to Lenton Van Buren Jr., one of the escapees, is still unconfirmed. Angel McKee was also arrested Friday. She and Van Buren Sr. are charged with being accessories after the fact. At a hearing today, their bonds were set at around $1 million each. 2 other people were at that hearing too. One was Emmett Weber. The NOPD shared these pictures of officers entering a home in New Orleans East Friday. 4 people in the home were suspected of helping the inmates, but Weber was the only one they ended up arresting. His bond is $1 million too. The other was someone who's accused of helping the inmates from the inside. Trayvon Williams was already in jail. Now he's facing 10 new counts of principal to simple escape. Our partners at NOLA.com say he's accused of giving inmates a blanket and a shirt, and then they used those to scale a razor wire fence during their escape. His bond is the highest we've seen of any of the suspected accomplices, $2.5 million. That brings the total to 9 people now accused of helping. This past week, people have been arrested for a variety of accusations, and those include giving an inmate money, driving 2 of them around after the escape, and helping one get food. These are all cases we'll be watching closely. Anyone convicted of helping an inmate could face serious punishments. Just looking at one charge, accessories after the fact, the conviction can get you either $500 in fines or up to 5 years in jail.
All right, thanks so much. Corey Boyd was arrested.
We've been watching and covering this jailbreak over the past week. Thank you to Sir Richard and Lady Holly for continuously providing the information on this jailbreak. And I thought that I would jump in and do a live stream to talk about it. We don't often do live streams on this channel, so that means it is interactive. I don't have pre-recorded content that we're going to go through like usual. What I'm going to do on the flip side is go through the spreadsheet, the research, the information, all the data that Lady Holly and Sir Richard have been collecting and putting together for us so we can go through it and actually talk about all the craziness that is happening in Louisiana with this jailbreak. And I'm already seeing the comments in live chat coming in, and I can't disagree more. I can't, agree. I couldn't agree more than the comments that I'm seeing. It is crazy to think that all of these inmates have escaped. And then only just a few days ago, another inmate, one of the worst crimes in his jacket, killing small children with escape already in his jacket, got out for a second time. This is certainly mud on the face of the Louisiana Department of Corrections, the governor, all the way down to the sheriffs and the COs. And, you know, it's interesting. You see those who helped an inmate escape. Maybe they gave them a place to stay. Maybe they drove them somewhere. Maybe they gave them a T-shirt, and their bond is set at $2.5 million. And it just makes you wonder. It's like, you know, when you piss off the wrong people and you have media attention on you, that's what's going to happen. You harm a child, don't worry about it. You'll get probation, you'll get time served. But now, mud on the face of the governor in Louisiana, and we'll make sure that you have a $2.5 million bond for giving someone a T-shirt. I know I'm being a little bit facetious. I'm not good at the words right now at the moment. Maybe I need another coffee, but hey, it is mind-boggling. And as you've seen, what we've done here is that Louisiana, it seems that they have a history of jailbreaks. What we have here in this spreadsheet, teamwork from Lady Holly and Sir Richard, is we have listed here all the inmates that escaped just recently, right, from the Big Ten. And that's where you see it from here, column down, column 11 to column, 2 to column 11, 10 inmates. The green highlight here, right, are the ones who have been caught. And now we have 5 that are still on the loose. Then we have this document here from 14 to 20. These are all the folks that have been arrested for assisting in the breakout. So as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 arrested in assisting the breakout. And it goes through here all of what it is that they've done. And then Lady Holly has documented a specific drive, a specific file for each person. So what we're going to do on this live stream is go through all of this, right? Then, I don't know if you've seen it, this is the latest inmate who escaped, age 22, and the murders that he has in his jacket are terrifying. And then what we have here, this is historically in Louisiana, and keep in mind, these are only the inmates that we have, just some of the inmates that we have documented from our spreadsheets, but every single one of these inmates from row 66 down have escaped Louisiana jail or prison. So we're slowly dripping out those parole hearings. And it is quite interesting to see that there have been many escapes in Louisiana. I don't know if it's disproportionate to other states, but it's certainly nothing new. Welcome everyone to the live chat. I see you all coming in. So I'm just going to give some shout outs as we go down. And if I miss your name, keep in mind that it's going quickly, the chat, and it's, I might miss it. I'm sorry if I do. Forgive me. Ruby, Kitty, Kendra, Michelle, Joanna, Amisi, Joanna again, Junobi, God Sham, Miss Buckeye, how you doing? Krista, Merlin Spong. I like that name, Merlin Spong. That's pretty good. What's up, Elix in the house? News No Slack. Jackie, how you doing? Elix with the memberships. Thank you, Elix. Elix, for those of you who don't know, Elix has been such a stout supporter for this channel. Of course, always in the live streams and the chats, but so generous with the memberships. And it goes a long way. It goes a long way. I don't think I say it enough, but it is. It's always nice. I can always show my wife if she's nearby, or even my kids, and say, look at what happened. They can see the appreciation. And it makes the things go around. So thank you. It always means a lot. And Ruby, Brian, here we go. So what do you guys want to see first? What's up, Commander, Kitty, Freda, my German subby Freda, I assume, Silver Fox, Elise, Miss Buckeye again. So, all right. So let's go over. Oh, Sir Richard's actually in the spreadsheet. Sir Richard, I don't know if you are watching the stream, but do you guys see this? Let me point it out. See how he just popped up that's his little emoji? That means that he's working on the spreadsheet. And Sir Richard, if you're in the stream, come in and say hello. All right. Who should we check out? I think what we can do is we can go through. Here's a good article. See, we have documented here. We'll read through this article, which gives us an update on what just happened. So we have the 7th person arrested. Let me make sure that my screen looks good. I'm happy you're here, Draw. All right. So 7th person arrested for allegedly assisting escaped New Orleans inmates. And I do have to remember to use the word allegedly. I'm not quite good at this. And I realize everyone, they're only arrested. They're not convicted yet. So you don't want to get busted up and get some ambulance chasing lawyer to sue me, right? So an inmate, jail employees, and 5 others are accused of helping escapees. This guy right here, by the way, his ink, it's not just ink. He is one of the more dangerous ones that escaped. And it is pretty amazing with that ink on his face, how he wasn't the first to get caught. I mean, it's not like he can hide, right? It's so crazy. Thank you, God, Chan. It's just so crazy. What's up, Silver? Okay, so 7 people have now been arrested for allegedly helping inmates who broke out of New Orleans jail last week as the search for 5 outstanding escapees and any other alleged accomplices continues. And I am surprised that they haven't caught more of them. The idea that 5 are still out, especially Tattoo Face over there, is surprising, I think. 2 arrests have occurred on Friday as a number of people alleged to have assisted the 10 inmates who escaped from New Orleans Justice Center grows. Among them, 23-year-old Trevon Williams, an inmate at the jail, was arrested after Louisiana Attorney General's office and his agents obtained sufficient evidence that he assisted in his fellow inmates' escape. So, among them was an inmate. They actually arrested an inmate who they said assisted in helping them escape. And it's like, you're going to the bottom of the barrel when that's who we're going to arrest you. You're still locked up. You didn't escape, but you're getting that charge. Okay. According to an arrest warrant, Williams, wearing a distinctive black orthopedic boot on his right foot, was seen on surveillance camera entering a cell involved in the escape at approximately 12:35 a.m. on May 16th and remained there for nearly 30 minutes. The same time during which the inmate made their escape, he's also seen commingling with 2 of the escaped inmates moments before they entered the cell and ultimately escaped, according to the warrant. By the way, do you guys hear me clearly? Everything okay? All right. I know, right? The orthopedic boot is a funny touch. Investigators believe Williams supplied a blanket and shirt to aid the escapees in climbing over the facility's razor wire top fencing, according to the warrant. When questioned on Thursday, Williams told investigators that he could not remember why he entered the cell or what happened inside during that time, according to the warrant. Williams had been rebooked on 10 counts of principal to simple escape. He gets 10 counts, so 1 for each one, right? The Attorney General office said he had initially been booked in the facility in January on weapons charges and jail records show. So, by the way, Louisiana legislator allows a 5-year maximum sentence per simple escape, 10 years maximum sentence per aggravated escape. So if they were to run the sentences independently, right, I guess he'd be facing 50 years if assuming that's what they're going to say to him. You're not going to get it, but as I promised when we initiated our investigation, we will hold absolutely everyone who contributed to any role in the prison break in New Orleans accountable, Louisiana Attorney General Liz Muriel said in a statement. While Trevon Williams has already been incarcerated, we will be filing additional charges related to the escape. I do want to point out, this is my opinion, by the way, covering all of the different escapes that have happened in Louisiana just in the past 10 years, we have a lot in our spreadsheet. We've been covering a lot. And a clear trend is very clear to anyone who's paying attention that Louisiana jails does have a major problem. Many of the jails are understaffed. Right, these are the reports that I've read from the jail escapees that we've covered. Have you guys seen the last escapee we covered? Not the one who escaped to Mexico, but the one before it. I did the funny music in his speech. That was the jail escape where he escaped with 3 inmates and 7 inmates escaped the week before him. There were 10 inmates in a 2-week period. And they did a whole report. There weren't enough COs. And this is something that's been going on forever. So whose fault is it? It's not the lowly jailer's fault. It's not even the sheriff's fault, in my opinion. Of course, it's their fault too. But it's like, you know what? It's the high-ranking politicians. I'm sure that there have been reports going on their desks for years saying, this is a problem, this is a problem, this is a problem. We need more funding. We need more money. Our jails are falling apart. We're not paying our COs enough. We don't have enough COs. And it was ignored. And now whose heads are rolling? All these politicians, they knew it was a problem, but the heads that are going to roll are the lowest of the. If you have even realized, has even the sheriff been fired yet from this jail? Not that I'm aware of. Maybe we'll find out that she has, but not that I'm aware of. The only people getting in trouble are the lowest ranking so far that I have seen, but that's just, my 2 cents. A second man arrested on Friday is accused of helping 2 of the inmates after their escape, according to New Orleans Police Department. Emmett Weber, 28, was taken into custody after police executed a high-risk warrant at a home in New Orleans. Police said after questioning Weber was arrested and had been charged with accessory after the fact of simple escape. A jail employee accused of helping the inmates break out and 4 women who allegedly, some of them, once freed, have also been previously arrested and connected with the jailbreak. Cody Smith, 30, was arrested on Thursday for allegedly assisting 2 of the 10 inmates who escaped from the jail, according to Orleans Police Department. Through investigation, members of NOPD's Special Operations Division Tactical Team obtained information linking Smith to allegedly aiding at least 2 of the reported escapees. Blah, 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 blah. So she's facing a lot of time. She's not going to get bond. Smith allegedly admitted to aiding the escapees' transport along with 32-year-old Courtney Harris, who was arrested on Wednesday. Police said Smith has been booked for accessory after the fact and simple escape. In addition to Harris, State Police announced on Wednesday that 38-year-old blah blah was arrested and charged with felony counts of being accessory after the fact that were both booked at the I'm not going to pronounce that Parish Detention Center. On Thursday, a Slidell woman was taken into custody for allegedly helping a fugitive who was still at large. And you go down the list, you go down the whole list, blah blah blah. Have you seen this, by the way? So we can zoom in. I'm sure you guys have seen this picture 1,000 times. But is this clear? You see, it's so funny. You see how they say too easy, LOL? And in my opinion, this was an attempt to cover up. They thought they were like playing 3D chess. They thought it was an attempt to cover up the help that they got from the maintenance guy, because the maintenance guy had to turn off the plumbing. Otherwise, cutting the pipe would have immediately created flooding. And also, they say that he would have maybe cut something from behind there, steel or something. I'm not quite sure. But then they probably thought, oh, we'll be so smart. We'll write too easy. I don't know if it was straight up mocking them. I think they were trying to cover up the help they got. But maybe I'm overthinking it. So let me share with you, because this one you might not believe. Have you seen the latest guy who escaped? Are you guys aware that someone else escaped, I think on Friday or Thursday? This is who escaped. And look how dangerous this man is, how vile he is. So this is an 11th escapee in a separate incident, right? So he had an escape in his jacket from 2024. Now look at the murder that he committed. This is the information, Lady Holly. So let me go over let's go over his escape. All these ads.
They saw canines and drones in the early morning hours as deputies scoured the lawns of so many subdivisions trying to find Johnson. Meanwhile, we are digging into his criminal past. As we first told you, he has been behind bars now for that deadly home invasion in Hammond that left a man dead and his daughter severely injured. Dante Perry was shot to death in September of 2022, and his 12-year-old daughter shot multiple times. Johnson was facing first-degree murder and attempted murder charges, along with 2 others, including Amarian Hookfin and Avery Guidry. Now, Guidry also escaped with Johnson last year, followed by Hookfin. Days later, they were all recaptured. Meanwhile, calls are growing.
Yeah, he was. I just read a chat. The maintenance guy was not a trustee. He was an employee. So, yeah, this guy is the murder that he committed against a child, but it gets worse. Lady Holly put in the notes what he did. Let me see if I can find that link for you. Let's go back to his jacket. Let's see his murder. Let's go here.
First at 9 o'clock, new details about a home invasion in Hammond about 2 weeks ago where a man was shot and killed. His 12-year-old daughter is still fighting for her life.
And now the sheriff's office says the gunman also turned the weapon on another child in the apartment. It misfired. Fallon Brown has the new details.
That's what Lady Holly was talking about. Not only did he shoot a child, but he tried to kill a second child. This is a man who got out, already escaped, and now just escaped for a second time. And he's still out there.
A father killed. A 12-year-old girl brutally shot multiple times. 3 suspects now behind bars. And the life of a 7-year-old in the home likely changed forever.
While the neighbor was on the phone with 911, you could hear shots ringing out in the background.
On the evening of September 12th, neighbors called 911 after seeing a group of masked men force their way into an apartment off of Rufus Bankston Road in Hammond. Chief Jimmy Travis with the Tangipahoa Parish Sheriff's Office says investigators believe Omarion Hookfin, Avery Guidry, and Trayvon Johnson went into the home of 33-year-old Dante Perry, intending to rob him.
The suspects broke into the house demanding drugs and money.
Also in the home, Perry's 3 children, ages 12, 7, and 3. Perry was shot to death. Then police say the gun was turned on Perry's 12-year-old daughter. She was shot multiple times, including in the head.
I feel like that the sole purpose of them shooting the 12-year-old was to actually, murder the 12-year-old, because possibly the threat of the 12-year-old being a witness or being able to identify him or provide information.
What we're learning now as new details emerge from the investigation is that the suspects also tried to murder Perry's 7-year-old son. Travis told WBRZ Tuesday that a gun was placed to the little boy's head and the trigger was pulled, but somehow the gun misfired, sparing his life.
I just can't understand how you would talk to a man like this and then try to hurt the babies as well. Wait, just have no heart.
After that, the 3 allegedly made off with cash, an AR pistol, and drugs, reportedly dropping some on the ground as they fled. Those who knew Perry urging the public to come forward with information.
Right. And as Alix just said, yes, this guy is out there. He escaped now. And of course, he's a monster, right? These aren't just like people who are in gang wars shooting him. These are people who are targeting and deliberately killing children, allegedly, because he hasn't gone through trial. He hasn't been convicted. No, instead, he was sitting in jail where he escaped. Let me share with you the 2024 escape. Again, thank you, Lady Holly. So this is in 2024 when he escapes. 2 inmates captured, 2 still at large, Louisiana jail. Doesn't this sound familiar? This is 4 inmates escaping in 2024. How is it possible? But it is. People don't see it. The media, I don't even think, is properly covering this. Maybe they are, and I'm not paying attention. But he escapes. They say it's very concerning. If the proper head count had been conducted, we would have known about this immediately. And it's like, wow, does that sound familiar? Huh? If they had proper head counts. But it's like, again, like the writing wasn't only on the wall. The canary wasn't only dead in the tunnel. The entire tunnel had caved in. And then when an inmate escapes, like it did now 10 years later, everyone's blaming everybody else when it's clearly the rot was there for everyone to smell. And it is quite funny. I think it's, it's like, what's the word, the words I'm looking for, or the analogies that I'm looking for? But it's like when something goes wrong and then all the lower, not even the lower managers, but the lowest employees get blamed and fired, when it's so clear, when you just do a little bit of digging, that this rot started at the top. Deputies reported on Monday. Remember, this happened in 2024. This is not what we're talking about. This is last year. And then he escaped again just 3 days ago. So I don't know how long it took. The inmates escaping, ongoing investigation, review evidence. He added that several issues facilitated correctional supervision, the wire in the yard being weak, and blah, blah, blah. Now let's go to his recent escape. Now we have his 2025 escape. Let's see. We just went through that. Let's see if there's... I don't... Let's see if this is... Let's see. Here it is. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see this. It's hard for me to figure out the zoom on this stuff. So this is May 23, 2025. This is 2 days ago, right? Authorities And this is someone who does not hesitate to murder babies, and he's on the run. Yeah, buddy. Jesse came between races, so just going over the bikes. Jesse is the craziest, most hardcore racer on YouTube, and I wish that he would post more videos on it because I know I'd watch it. Now, authorities in Louisiana are looking for an inmate who escaped jail for the second time in a year after a member of the public, for the second time in a year, oh my God, tipped them off on Thursday. And listen to this. This is how crazy it is. Do you hear this? After a member of the public tipped them off. Again, the sheriff didn't know that he escaped. The COs didn't know that he escaped. A member of the public told the jailer that he escaped. Trayvon Johnson, 22, is awaiting trial in blah, blah, blah for his alleged role in the 2022 Hammond area home invasion where a man was killed and his child was injured, according to the blah, blah, blah parish office. The sheriff's office previously reported that Johnson was 19. The sheriff's office said it received a call. Again, listen to this. They received a call before 10 p.m. on Thursday from a member of the public who asked if Johnson was still in custody. The person did not identify themselves. Sheriff Gerald Sticker said in a news briefing Friday afternoon, following an immediate head count, you can't make this stuff up, of the jail population and a review of Johnson's movements throughout the day, it was determined that Johnson escaped around 4:30 p.m. They would not have known that he had escaped without someone calling the jail to tell them. This is someone who escaped already just a few months ago. This is someone who allegedly shot a child and attempted to shoot another child. This is during the most publicized jail outbreak, maybe in the history of, ever, just with the way media is and how it's captivated the world's attention. And it happens again. You can't make this stuff up. You really can't. If I was in Louisiana right now, oh my God, can you imagine the fear of going to sleep at night, knowing that these guys are running around with nothing to lose? He escaped around 4:30 p.m. when another inmate helped lift him over the perimeter fence. That's how hard it was. They lifted him over the perimeter fence. The sheriff's office said in a statement, adding that Johnson was the only inmate to have escaped Thursday. But don't tell them. Don't tell them about Wednesday and Tuesday. At around 4:15 p.m., there was an incident at a dorm in the jail where an inmate flooded a cell by stopping up a shower. As a result, a deputy was dispatched to the back with a crew of trustees to clean the water out of the dorm. While they were doing so, they opened the back door and the jail that leads into the yard, adding that the door to the dorm was left open for about a minute. So one jailer is there to watch all of these dangerous criminals. Is that what you're telling me? And they had a fence to jump over. A deputy who realized the back door was open closed it. Ooh, good job, deputy. But not before two individuals, Johnson and another inmate, Trayvon Wallace, were able to get out. And let's just keep in mind that this guy is alleged to have killed a father and severely wounded their child, and then tried to eliminate the 6-year-old child. But the gun jammed. That's who this is. Allegedly. Wallace, 28, was found in the exterior door when deputies went to make sure it was shut. According to the sticker, he was escorted back to his cell, but a head count was not done at the time, and the incident was not reported up the chain of command. An official count done around 2 hours later determined that all inmates should have accounted for. So they didn't do the count then, and when they did it 2 hours later, they counted wrong, ladies and gentlemen. But upon review of the surveillance video, jail staff did not do a proper count. We have police in place for this. We have procedures in place for this policy, that dictate the amount of counts we're supposed to do per day, Sticker said. So that's another opportunity missed. Surveillance video of the yard outside the jail around 4:28 p.m. showed Johnson scaling the back fence while Wallace, who was underneath him, gave him a push. That's all it took, ladies and gentlemen. For whatever reason, whether he couldn't get over the fence on his own or was it just there to help the first individual get over the fence, he returned back into the jail, and that's where a deputy intercepted him. Wallace has been charged with simple escape and principle to help someone escape. Yet, you see this, he's stupid. He should have just escaped because it's the same charge. It's like you might as well escape and get your burger because they're going to charge you the same. And with everything going on, they're actually going to see the charge through, I think. It's not like this is not going to be a slap on the wrist. This is Johnson's second escape. No one involved is going to get a slap on the wrist because Louisiana's pissed and they're embarrassed. It's just not going to happen. Everyone, I predict, is going to see the maximum charges. This is Johnson's second escape, not escape attempt, second escape from this jail in a year, according to the sheriff's office, who said he was one of 4 inmates who broke out of the facility a year ago this month. Details about Johnson's 2024 escape were not immediately made available, but we just went through it, guys, right? We didn't go through how long he was out and how long it took for them to catch him, though. Johnson's escape on Thursday triggered a lockdown in the jail. The sheriff's office said it called law enforcement partners for help in the search of Johnson, alerted victims of his escape, and contacted family members and known associates. So this is how they caught him again. They go through this now. Sticker said that the sheriff's office received a tip about a suspicious person in the Baptist community. A deputy responded to the area found a person matching Johnson's description with different clothes on. The person who ran into the woods, per sticker, we deployed a perimeter of the law enforcement officers, put drones in the air, we put dogs on the ground, and when I left there, I was out there myself, and we left at 3 o'clock this morning. We exhausted the search. 5'5", 120. He's a small guy. Yeah. Brilliant. So let me go check out the chat. I mean, again, what we can go through now is the inmates, what's in their jacket. Is that what you guys want to do? You want to go over some of the scarier criminals, what's in their jacket, or the ones that had escaped? Yeah, Sweet Bay Strawberries is right. They only found out because someone called the jail. So someone knew he was out and actually anonymously called the jail. They should be very embarrassed. This is, and I think it's nothing short of a miracle that people weren't carjacked yet. People weren't killed. 5 were caught. What's kind of funny is that all 5 that were caught, not one of them changed their hairstyle, made any attempt to change their appearance. Tattoo Face isn't going to be able to do that, right? Unless they can put makeup on. All right, so we'll go through their jackets. So this guy has 3 escapes in his jacket. He's still out there. So let's go through him. Let's go check him out. So this is his 3rd prison break. First was in 2007 when he was 15 years old. And that's why it might not be reported by a lot of the media. Sorry, let me pull it here. Because, I don't know, maybe they feel they can't report on it if he was 15. But that's just not true that I'm aware of. But anyways, he has one when he was 15, then in 2019, and then now. So his 3rd prison break. When booked in March on charges of motor vehicle and domestic abuse battery involving strangulation, he was also wanted by St. Tammany Parish on suspicion of kidnapping and SA. Law enforcement officials said that judge issued a protective order in New Orleans Parish and Macy hadn't entered a plea at the time. Then Holly lists down his long list. Now, this is Tattoo Face, I think. Let me see. Here, it's when he was 15, he escaped custody. He was arrested for having a firearm, traffic offenses, shooting, on parole, armed robbery, was charged with various traffic violations. Let me see. Yeah, this is, so who we're just reading, this is who he is. So he's this is his third escape attempt. And again, I wonder how he's not been caught yet. I mean, like, come on, like, unless he's, if you put makeup on and you shave your head, I guess it'd be hard to find them. But I don't know if they're, well, you never know. Okay, let's go. So we just did Antoine. This guy is super scary. So Derek Groves, you won't believe it, but he has 5 bodies in his jacket. Now, I want to state this so I don't have any train chasing lawyers suing me. When I say 5 bodies in his, it's like all alleged, and one of them he's been acquitted on. So let's go to Lady Holly's spreadsheet on him. It's not like these people who have escaped are just like, every day, whatever. These are actually like this is like a cheesy Hollywood. If you wanted to create villains that escape from jail, these are them. Like, you couldn't script it anymore. Look at this guy. What's in this guy's history? As Holly says, 5 dead people. One is a teenager and acquitted. This was his godfather. He was charged with killing his godfather. His own biological father testified against him in court for killing his godfather, and the jury acquitted him. So he's acquitted on that murder. Then 4 adults in 2 separate incidents. Okay? So 2 separate incidents. All right, this guy's on the loose, ladies and gentlemen. He was convicted of second-degree murder in 2018, Mardi Gras Day killing of 2 men in the 9th Ward. He was hired in a hit ordered by a rival dealer, and the victims, Jamar and Brian, were innocent bystanders. These are not gang war violence. They're innocent bystanders. So a jury found Groves guilty last October of killing Brian and Jamar on Mardi Gras in New Orleans' 9th Ward. He was given 2 mandatory minimum sentences of life in prison. He was tried in 3 separate times in the killings. One conviction was overturned because it came from a non-unanimous jury. Another prosecution ended in a mistrial, but a third, the state secured a unanimous conviction. So can you imagine the money they spent on trying to convict this guy? 3 trials. And part of this has come out. You might say, well, why is he still sitting in jail? Why is he not in prison? Why has he not been sentenced? And it's this major backlog that they have in Louisiana. And the governor signed a bunch of executive orders so that this won't happen again. But again, this is something everybody in Louisiana knew about. You think they want to spend a year and a half in jail waiting for sentencing? No, jail sucks. You'd much rather spend it in a prison where you have programs and you have better food and you have, a safer environment and a cleaner environment. But Louisiana, it's messed up. So you have people sitting in jail waiting for sentencing for over a year, which is just insane because sentencing wouldn't even, it's like just put it in your calendar. Groves later pleaded guilty in the manslaughter cases for the July killing of Woodrow Smith and in the killing of a separate victim. Groves also has a criminal past in narcotics dealing, federal, state, and courts, and stands accused of battery a correctional employee last year. So 5 bodies, 4 that I guess he was guilty of. Let's go to the next one. Now we have Leo Tate Sr., murder and 2018 gun charges. Let's see what his deal is. So Leo Tate, Derek Groves' grandma was unalived by NOPD saying he's taking revenge. Derek Groves' grandma was... What do you mean by that, Sweet Bay? I'm missing that. The police killed his grandmother? What? I'm not... Should I Google that? What's going on with that? Leo Tate Sr. faced second-degree murder, attempted second-degree murder, charged with 7th Ward, double shooting 2018, which killed 19-year-old Alexis Banks and sent a 16-year-old to the hospital. He accepted a plea deal in 2021 in which the murder-related charges were dismissed. He was convicted of obstruction of justice, Sentenced to 10 years behind bar. Look at the deal they gave this guy. Second-degree murder and attempted second-degree murder, and he got a 10-year sentence. So he's given a gift of 10 years. And what's he do with it? Of course, nothing. He gets 2024 gun charges. And he probably wasn't even facing that much time on the gun charges. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I don't know what his full term. I'm looking at a document now. I still want to screen share it because I have to look at them before I screen share them. But okay, let's go back here. Where are we? Then we have Lenton Van Buren. Van Buren, right? That sounds very un-Louisiana. Louisiana. Murder 2021. And again, you're seeing this, so like, wait a minute, murder 2021. Why is he not in prison? Why is he in jail? Okay. Was charged with second-degree murder in 2021, where a victim was shot to death. He pled not guilty in 2022. 2 months ago, he asked the court to represent himself. Oh, so he hasn't been found guilty yet. It's just from 2021 up until now, he hasn't even had a trial yet. He asked the court to represent himself, and they ordered a mental competency. This is how slowly things move. I don't know if we need to go through the article of his murder. Let's see. There you go. You guys curious? They listed date of birth. You see, a lot of these articles scare me with YouTube's terms of service. I don't want to screen share the wrong thing on a live stream. We have Jermaine Donald, who's still out. Let's see. Long criminal history. Most recently charged in December 2023 with second-degree murder and possession of a firearm by a felon. Court records show he pled not guilty in April 2024. This would be him, but behind a bloody paywall. Okay. So there's not a lot of info on that guy. And then who else do we have? I guess that's it. Then we have Downey. I don't know if you want to go through this. Here are the individuals that helped them escape. What's up, Sir Richard? We have Sir Richard in the chat, who has been down and dirty in the spreadsheet as well. It's been nice having Sir Richard back. Sir Richard has been, battling health stuff, and Lady Holly kind of took over full swing. And over the past few days, Sir Richard has been back in the spreadsheet, and it's been a lot of fun. It's like the good old days. So Sir Richard put together all of this stuff right here. Which, if you guys want, we could watch a parole hearing of an escapee if you guys want to. We could pick any random hearing and watch it. Let me know if that's something you want to do. But we have, we could also do, Sir Richard put together a document of one of, let's see, do this. Of all these executive orders that the government's been putting through. And what did I name it? I want to find that. I can show that to you. Oh, here it is. Supervisor. I wonder if we do this. So we have listed here I guess these are just escapees in 2025. Is that what this is? Look at that. I didn't realize that. 2025 Louisiana escapees. Oh, I missed this. So look at this, guys. There are just in 2025 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 escapees in 2025. Do you see that, y'all? And here's the escape dates. So 121, it starts immediately after New Year's. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 6 on 1/2/2025 that no one heard about. You have 128, 2025, 220, 430, 49, 430. These are in addition to the 10 that escaped. Holy cow. This dude is a chomo. Jonathan Age escaped. This is scary, huh? Look at, Louisiana. I don't know what they're in comparison to other states, but it can't be this bad in other states. Richard said there's even more, just ran out of time. There are dozens of more escapes. Oh, nice, Sweet Bay. Well, welcome to the chat. There's a playlist we're covering the escapes. We're covering parole hearings in Louisiana. So as you can see here, here are parole hearings. Every single one of these inmates from row 66 down are inmates whose parole hearings we have access to. So these are inmates that have escaped, and you can see how the parole board mentions it if they talk about it. So tell me, guys, what do you want to do right now in this live stream? We can go over more information on this. We can go over this document where Sir Richard curated for us. So what you see here is the governor did a session, and basically it's like they discuss everything they'll do again to prevent escape. So I can give you an example. We can go over it.
Escape from our jail. So let that sink in. 10. When you look at some of the postseason about history, one of the most worst events we've talked about prison escape, that's happened in a very long time. And unfortunately, several are still out there on the street. I'm thinking about the families that were impacted by the crimes that were committed, the families that are impacted by the fact that they're running our streets, especially with the crimes that they were charged with. And I'm thinking about the neighborhoods that are not harboring them, but the neighborhoods where they're taking up space, where in many cases, just their presence creates an unease and potential threat to the folk who live in those neighborhoods. And I'm thinking about the people in the city who are wondering how this could happen and why did it happen and how it relates to all of us, those of us involved, especially on our watch. Now, this isn't a time for politics and finger pointing. This meeting today is about action. How do we come together? How do we answer questions that should be answered? And how do we put solutions in place so that it won't happen again? Our focus right now should be twofold. Supporting the efforts to bring these individuals and what our chief and law enforcement agencies are doing back into custody, and to make immediate changes to ensure that this has the slightest, most minute probability that it'll.
As you can see, this is Sir Richard was kind enough to give us the timestamps. So we have timestamps for this entire seminar. I think what we'll do, I want to hear from the sheriff. There were procedural failures, missed notifications, and also intentional wrongdoing. So let's go to the sheriff at 4825. And hopefully I don't hit a commercial. 4825. And then, Sir Richard, if you think there are any we should jump on.
Investigation. I can tell you this. There were procedural failures and missed notifications. But there were also intentional wrongdoings. This was a coordinated effort aided by individuals inside our own agency who made the choice to break the law. One arrest has been made, and we are continuing to pursue everyone involved, and that investigation is active and ongoing. As sheriff, I have always been transparent about the realities we faced at the Orleans Justice Center, whether it's putting out logs of incidents in the jail, which you probably won't see any other sheriff to have done, or coming to city council and talking about our needs. This facility was never designed to be a maximum security jail. It was built for short-term detention, not long-term high-risk housing. Yet over the years, we have been forced to operate without the resources to match our needs. We have submitted multiple requests over the years for staffing, maintenance, and infrastructure upgrades needed to safely run this jail. Unfortunately, time and deferred investment have caught up with us all. And while we continue to make improvements wherever we can, the current moment clearly shows that patchwork fixes are not enough. As part of our corrective action plan, several OPSO employees have already been suspended without pay. More disciplinary actions are under review, and we are also fully cooperating with the Attorney General's independent investigation, and we have provided full access to all records, surveillance footage, and internal documentation.
Again, like as you see, we have seen firsthand that escapes have been happening. I mean, just this year, how many escapes, right? They just didn't make media attention like this one did for whatever reason. And I mean, so she said, "Yeah, hey, we've been saying that this needed help, and but how come?" Is anyone aware of, Sir Richard? Have they fired anyone like above the rank of sergeant yet? I mean, who's the only people whose heads have rolled are people who are getting paid like $8 an hour. It's that I'm aware of. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Let's see. Okay, here they talk about the here they're talking about who got suspended without pay. So let's see the rigs.
We are committed to transparency and accountability at every level. But let me also be clear. What happened does not reflect the vast majority of dedicated staff who report to work each day to do a tough job with integrity and a commitment to safety. But it is a signal that deeper structural and systemic changes are overdue, and they require the partnership of all levels of leadership and stakeholders committed to public safety. This is a difficult moment, but it's also an opportunity. We are working around the clock to resolve this crisis, to restore order, and to rebuild trust. Thank you for your time and questions and commitment to public safety. I look forward to our partnership. I'm going to turn this over. I'm here up today with Chief Jay Mallett, who's our Chief of Corrections, and our Chief Financial Officer, Bianca Brown, to provide some additional information. And then I have a brief closing before we finish.
Sheriff, I think the table has been set, especially in terms of how we start. And it seems like everyone's kind of concentrated on this area around notification, communication, and timeline. And we've heard from council members, we've heard the concern from someone in the community about notification and communication. We heard from our police chief. From you, walk us through the exact timeline. And just to kind of set the table, I think it'll set the table for the other discussions. And when was the breach discovered? Which OPSO officer discovered it? And what happened immediately?
All right, let me know if you guys want to hear this broken down. It's hard to, the hardest thing about doing live streams is I can't read a room. There's no room to read. So like you can let me know what you want to do. I think we have three options. We can go through the stream and get the insight, the information. This is the information that we can jump through. It's 3 hours long, right? So we're not going to go through, but you can see here the different questions that are asked. So you can go through the whole list of arrests. You can go through, for example, here, the camera video review. So about the camera systems and why it's not working. You can go through their budgetary needs. There's an interesting question by a citizen that Sir Richard said was quite good here. We can go through the spreadsheet and look at the other escapes, or we can even watch a parole hearing we have that involves an escape. There are a bunch down the list. So let me know, should I run a poll? Maybe I can run a poll. Let's see. Should we run a poll? How is everyone doing today? While I run a poll, we'll keep playing this. No. There's an ad.
Remember, I have to ask for your discretion here, but we need Chief Mallet is going to go through that.
Okay.
You can ask me any questions afterward about that, but we're going to provide some timeline of the events as the investigation is ongoing.
Good morning, Council. Because of the complexity of this event.
Talking to the mic, please, Chief Mallet.
So good morning, Council. Because of the complexity of this event, the magnitude of what happened, and the ongoing investigation, certain details of the timeline we can't share because we don't want to jeopardize the investigation. We can say that
Okay, let's go to that then. I saw Lick's post. I want to see what Richard says. Then I looked up in the chat and I see Richard right there. So let's skip ahead to that. So that's 2:47:10. So we're going to go to 2:47:10. Hopefully we don't hit an ad. 2:47. Let's just do it. Let's do it right here.
Get my social work degree. The first thing I want to say is that
when
I heard of this breach initially of the escape and that it happened, it was seen hours later that they had escaped at 1:08 a.m. on camera, but it wasn't actually detected till they did the first morning count. I immediately thought inside job because if they're not counts, whoever was on staff should have at least been doing visuals of those inmates to make sure that each inmate was at least in their cell. I'm not paid to be here. And what I'm going to speak on as my experience as an inmate and what I've learned through my education and my transition to become a social worker, to get my social work degree. The first thing I want to say is that when I heard of this breach initially of the escape and that it happened, it was seen hours later that they had escaped at 1:08 a.m. on camera, but it wasn't actually detected till they did the first morning count. I immediately thought inside job because if they're not counts, whoever was on staff should have at least been doing visuals of those inmates to make sure that each inmate was at least in their cell when they were supposed to be at lights out. And I assume those type of security walkthroughs would take place either 30 minutes or every hour, I assume, based on my experience. Now, so that's why and that's why you have an arrest of an employee, because that employee probably didn't do a falsely document that he or she did those walkthroughs, and they actually did not. And when that security breach happened, when it was notified, once in the morning, when it notified they had a shortage of inmates, the first thing you do, you don't immediately go to escape. You don't immediately go to see, we got to notify the press and the public. You don't do that based on my experience. What you do is you lock down the facility, you do a second count, and yes, those counts can take hours to clear. And we're not even talking about the escape. We're just talking about this. Maybe inmate was gone out on a med leave, or maybe they was transported and it wasn't properly documented. That's why you had that one incident where you thought one inmate had escaped and they didn't, because it wasn't.
Very good comments. Thank you, Mr. Peterson. Everybody's got 2 minutes. Thank you. Great points. Ms. Rhonda K. Al.
Okay, so they kicked him out after his 2 minutes. I don't know, Richard, was there anything else? But basically what he was saying is, hey, I was an inmate and it's so clear that you guys messed up. And then they're like, okay, nothing to see here. It really is just insane. I have to keep going back to this spreadsheet and saying, like, what are we seeing here? These are the escapees, and it's not all of them, Sir Richard said, of just this year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 escaped on January 2nd, 2025. I mean, 6. We have two females that escaped here. 4/9/2025, 4/13/2025. And these are the arrests again. So they have arrested 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They've arrested 7 people for assisting in the escape, which is a lot, right? I mean, it seems like a lot. Probably the number is going to go up. I don't know if they fired anyone above the rank of captain yet, which I don't know. Seems kind of interesting at best. We have this guy who just escaped for his second time, who is alleged to have killed a father in front of his son, shot the son who was, 11 years old, and then tried to kill the 6-year-old, allegedly, but his gun jammed. He just escaped 2 days ago for the second time, mind you. And then we have all these parole hearings, and I just dropped a poll. If you're watching this live, hit the poll. We can watch a parole hearing. Any of these parole hearings that involved an escape. They may talk about the escape, may not. This one's interesting. This dude kidnapped the Angola warden and the Angola's wife and the Angola warden's mother. I don't know if you remember him. We played his hearing like 2 years ago. He was 15 years old when he kidnapped the warden's family. And he was, the warden, of course, being the warden, did his whole, Louisiana nunchuck thing, got out of the escape vehicle and shot him, killed one of the men kidnapping him, and then this 15-year-old kid lost his arm, and then spent the next, I think, 5 years in solitary confinement, I doubt with any painkillers. And can you imagine that hell? Imagine being 15 years old, having your arm amputated in Angola, being treated probably like worse than any prisoner of war in any war you can imagine. Like, just here it is in Angola prison, in a hole. And he actually, when he showed up to his parole hearing, he didn't seem to have a bitter part in him. He seemed like it was. I thought it was incredibly impressive that he got through that without going crazy. Pink says she remembers it. Yeah, I couldn't forget that one, but it didn't get a ton of views. So I don't know. That one amazed me. Where are we in the poll? Watch a parole hearing at 67%. Research on escape 22%. Chat and hang 11%. But we only have 18 votes. That's not enough, guys. We got 84 people watching. We need more votes. We could see here. Let's see. Let's see. Who's this? Mimi? So she has an escape. I don't recognize her. I wonder what she's done. No, we must have played it if it's green. What's up, Jam in the house? I hope you're feeling better, Jams. I know, oh gosh, you can go through a lot. Since done with jailbreak stuff, don't need me anymore. Going to drop off. It was great seeing all of you. Well, we're not done with jailbreak stuff, Richard. I mean, tell me what we should cover. What should we cover, Sir Richard? Should we go back to the? We can go back to this. What should we discuss? Camera review. You guys want to see the camera review? Let's see. I mean, while we figure this out, I'm just trying to figure out what we should see more of this. Sheriff justification. Okay, let's go look at the sheriff justification. That sounds pretty funny. Let's see this. Okay. Ads.
partner task force system? I did, because that was important to get that out. We also had to pivot and start with our victims reparations unit, victims and survivors.
Okay. A look says, let's see the charges for those who have escaped. Yeah, we can see that. So Elix wants to see the charges for those who have helped escape. So those who have helped escape are, where are they? They are here. Arrested for assisting. So we have right here, arrested for assisting. That is, let's go over each one. So Trayvon Williams, 23 years old. He heaps of articles, but they all say the same thing. Arrested on battery, and a police officer pled guilty, got 1 year with credit for time served. So this is his history. This is what he was in prison for when he helped them escape. So this is the guy who got arrested. He was in prison already. Possession of a firearm, illegal carrying of a weapon. Can see his 10 charges for aiding the escape, but not yet assigned the case number, so can't open it. So we don't know exactly there. Let's go to the next inmate. The next inmate is Emmett Weber, helped 2 arrested accessory after the fact. So we can go to Emmett Weber, and he is a 2021 arrest. So it doesn't look like we're seeing what their charges are, but we are seeing kind of who they are. Also arrested for DV, assault, armed robbery in 2024, and 2020 charges unknown. But I'm not seeing, let's see what these articles lead us. So I go to the website and then I get hit with these pop-ups. That's why I can't with these websites. They're just so, all right. So this is Weber. NOPD makes another arrest for helping inmates after Orleans Parish jail escape. After questioning, one man identified as Emmett Weber was arrested and charged with accessory after the fact with simple escape. Another individual has been arrested for allegedly assisting the inmates. It comes after NOPD issued a high-risk arrest warrant, revealed that one or more of the people inside the home had helped the inmate escape. 4 individuals inside the home were taken into questioning. After questioning, one man identified as Emmett Weber was arrested and charged with accessory after the fact. But yeah, we don't have. This is the maintenance worker, Sterling Williams. So let's see what the deal is with him. So, do you guys hear me? I think I just got a notification saying you might not hear me. Let's see. Do y'all hear me? It's Christina's birthday? It's also Jesse's birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday, Christina. You hear me? Okay, good. Wow. I don't know. Christina and Jesse have the same birthday. Happy birthday, Christina. All right. So this is the jail guy. So he was arrested for driving over the limit, but otherwise does he not have a record? Lawyer claims he was called to unclog a toilet and had to turn it off the mains to do it. He claims the narrative told by the police on him assisting is not true, and that the shanking was a passing threat made by one of the 10, not a hostage-like situation. So the maintenance guy said that he was threatened that he would get shanked if he didn't help them escape. Let's see what the police say about him. All right, I don't know. It's kind of boring. Yeah, Christina, happy birthday, Christina. What are you doing for your birthday? And we can't ask how young you're turning, but I assume it's like 30. 30? You're turning 30? Don't hear the video. Huh. Oh, maybe that's why. Maybe that was the notification I got. It was my browser. The video is off. Let's see. We have Casey Smith allegedly aiding two of the reported escapees as they were transported to multiple locations in the forest. Let's just think about this, guys. What do you think? Maybe we could just talk about where are they hiding, especially Tattoo Face. We know that he can't really hide. Where are they, and when are they going to get caught? How are they not caught yet? Do you think that any of them are outside the country, possibly? I mean, have they made their way over to Texas and then Mexico? What is going on here? 30 plus and minus 17 years. How young is Jesse turning? Jesse. Probably in someone's attic. You know, it really takes someone, though, to not collect on that 10 grand, or if there are two of them in one place, 20 grand. I mean, I guess if you feel your life would be wrecked if you did that. I mean, that's the problem. It's like, wait, so thanks for giving me 10 grand, but are you really going to now find me a new place to live and a new life? Because you will need that, obviously. So I know that's what I've been thinking. I've been thinking, Ruby, like, you just might, are they, are they right now in someone's trailer in the middle of nowhere kidnapping them? And I mean, think about it. How do you track down 5 people once it's like after the first few days? Like the first 5 got caught pretty quickly. They didn't try to change their appearance, not even like, nothing at all. They didn't try to change their hairstyle, shave their head. It was just kind of like they're walking down Bourbon Street, out of all places, Bourbon Street. Like, really? You're going to go down Bourbon Street? But I don't know. I wonder. And then why would you ever allow yourself to, why would you ever, what's waiting for you when you surrender? They're sending them to Angola. And so you're going to go to the dungeons in Angola, where you're going to be held basically 23-1. You're going to get 1 hour outside, maybe in the yard or something. And you're going to be there probably for the next indefinite amount of time. And that's it. You're going to spend 10 years just for the aggravated escape. And then they're going to prosecute you to the fullest. You know that they're going to make sure that they get you on everything, any other pending charges that you had, whether it was murder or anything else that you had in your jacket. They're gonna get you to the fullest, and send, these guys are going to spend the next 50 to the rest of their lives in prison. So it's like, why would you go down without a fight? And it'd be crazy. So let's go check out the poll. We have 36 votes. We have 54% at watch a parole hearing, 38% at research on escape. So do you guys want to do more research on the escape, or do you want to do a parole hearing? And then if there's a parole hearing, what parole hearing do you want to watch at this point? Do you want to watch one you haven't seen before? Do you want to see the one that's specifically about the escape? There's 2. There's one where a guy. So there's 2 that are quite interesting. One is of a man who escaped. He was out for 10 years in Chicago. He applied to be a police officer. Listen to this. This is a parole hearing that we played, but it has very few views. He applied to be a police officer. In that application, they discovered that he was a runaway from Angola, and so they arrested him and extradited him back to Louisiana, and here he is serving his life sentence. So there's that hearing, and then there's the other hearing of the 15-year-old who kidnapped the warden and lost his arm. And then there's just another 20 or 30 other hearings that I haven't seen yet. I don't know. They might not even mention the escape. Well, they mention it. They'll mention it in his jacket, but it might not be a topic of discussion. It could just be like, it happened type of thing. So any of them sound interesting? Yes, that's the one, man, dude. Let's watch that one. Very interesting case. So which case, Oliver? The one who lost the arm or the one who became a police officer? The guy who applied to be a police officer. Okay, so I think we have two for that. So that seems to be the interesting one. So let's see. Which one was that? Police officer. Searching police is not the best move because there's so many. Let me see if I can find it. Jam Jam is 10 years older than Christina, who's turning 30 today. Happy birthday, Christina. Christina Du. Mom of the year, Christina Du. Okay, so let's see. How do I find it? Who is this? This is the guy. No, so this is the kidnapper dude. This one. Okay, this one we did already. This one. He escaped Angola at 15 and caught applying to be a police officer. So here it is. Here it is. Okay. Let me just stop here. And if I miss anything in the chat, let me know. Let me just pull this up.
All right. We'll put you on hold. Be back in about 15, 20 minutes. Thank you.
You guys recognize this guy? This is him. So, well, there's a delay. Let's see. Let me see if we can play it from. You guys are young.
Good morning. The committee on parole is called to order. Today is Tuesday, March 28, 8:32 a.m. My name is Brendan Kelsey, along with Ms. Cheryl Knox and Mr. Alan Roche will be the panel. Staff and support is seated at the DOC.
You guys hear it?
We're going to continue with the hearing for Mr. Leroy Jenkins. I read the information into the record. Mr. Jenkins, did you understand everything that I read? I read your charges. I read the information to the record. You know we have people here that'll speak on both sides.
Representing Mr. Leroy Jenkins. Good morning.
I wasn't sure if I caught the charges.
We're here back. I think we have everybody prepared and everybody ready. Would you introduce your name, ma'am?
Good morning. My name is Claire Roubion, C-L-A-R-E, Roubion, R-O-U-B-I-O-N, and I'm here representing Mr. Leroy Jenkins.
All right, you're able to sneak in. We start at 8:30, just for the record.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you all accommodating. I drove in from Lafayette this morning and hit a little bit of weather, so thank you for accommodating that.
Yes, ma'am. All right.
His attorney was late. Not good.
We are going to continue with the hearing for Mr. Leroy Jenkins. I read the information for the record. Mr. Jenkins, did you understand everything that I read? I read your.
Okay, I'm not going to keep pausing it, but I realize that they see. We need to go back to when they read the charges, then I'll fast forward back to here. Okay.
Eligible for good time date. They'll speak on at the end. You can make other people that will be speaking. I'll see number 73024. You're a second class offender, not eligible for good time date. Parole eligibility date 6/17/2022. Full term is life. First degree murder and simple escape. Does that sound correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll go ahead and read off. We'll have.
Okay. Now there was a pause, and then we'll come back to where they were.
Your charges. I read the information for the record. You know we have people here that'll speak on both sides, and prepared to answer questions from Mr. Roche. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Roche?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr. Jenkins. How are you?
Fine, and you?
But I'm going to put some information to the record and then I'll answer the questions, okay?
Okay.
Mr. Jenkins is a second felony offender, 67 years old. By my calculation, he's been incarcerated at Angola for 41, 42 years.
Yes, sir.
He's here today under Act 544, and he's sentenced to life and has no eligibility for good time. Mr. Jenkins was first incarcerated in July of 1971. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And when did you arrive at Louisiana State Penitentiary?
March 3rd, 1972.
And after 175 days at Angola, you escaped. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
And you were AWOL, or you?
I apologize for that.
Sir, I didn't ask you to apologize. And you absconded to Illinois, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And how long were you in Illinois?
About 9.5 years.
Okay. And in that 9.5 years, you got married, you had
Yes,
3 children, and you were employed, and then you applied to be a police officer, or you impersonated a police officer, you were arrested, and they found out Louisiana had a warrant for your arrest. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
How long did you serve in Illinois before you returned to Louisiana?
How long was I employed?
No, how long you were convicted of impersonating a police officer. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
How long did you serve? Were you incarcerated in Illinois?
No time at all. I
That you were incarcerated for 1 year.
I was on a work release.
You were on a work release in
Yes, sir.
Illinois?
Yes, sir.
Why won't you immediately return to Louisiana when you were arrested?
I have no idea about that part. They picked me up on a Sunday, and I was immediately taken to the magistrate.
of Illinois, and she bailed me back over to Louisiana to be extradited back to Louisiana. I fought extradition for 90 days.
Okay. So how long between the time you were arrested in Illinois and when will you return to Louisiana?
I would say, as I said, about 90 days, something like that.
Our records reflect that it was a year, but that's not important. So tell me exactly what you were doing in Illinois.
Working and raising a family, mostly working.
You were a convicted murderer, and you had. Why would you apply to be a police officer?
Needing more money because of the standard of living. I wasn't making enough, and
thank you. Tell me about the programs that you completed since you returned to Louisiana in 1983?
yes, sir. Anger management, 100 hours, pre-release. Excuse me for a moment.
Okay. My records show that you completed 100 hours pre-release, anger management, and
Yes,
thank
sir.
you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other program?
Yes, thinking for a change.
Mr. Jenkins, Mr.
Yes,
Jenkins, we've already mentioned thank you for a change, 100 hours pre-release, anger management. Are there any other programs? Mr. Jenkins, we don't have time to go through a binder. Tell me what kind of programs you completed.
Maintenance mechanic at Tractor Repair and
Maintenance and repair,
maintenance and repair
on the job training.
at Camp C, on the job training.
Okay, Mr. Jenkins, those are vocational programs. I want to know what type of rehabilitative programs that you completed other than 100 hours pre-release, anger management, thank you for a change.
Just going to church service and participating.
That's the only program that you completed.
Yes.
Part-time programs and 42 years of incarceration.
That's it.
No victim awareness?
Yes.
No Malachi dance?
No.
Why? Why avail yourself to additional programs so that you can rehabilitate yourself?
At the time, I was going to each one at a time and working at the same time on my job.
Now, just inform me that you have overwhelming express opposition to your early release. We have opposition from the entire legal community in Tangible Hall and adjacent parishes. You have opposition from the DA's office. You have opposition from the sheriff's office. You have opposition from the judge. Also, there's opposition from Randy Seal of Washington Parish, who is a sheriff, and he written a letter on behalf of the citizens of Washington Parish, vehemently opposed to your early release. We have the opposition from East and West Louisiana Parish Sheriff's Office, in the mayor's office in Norwood, Louisiana. We have overwhelming opposition from the victim's family, Edward Eddie Crass. We have over 10 letters from children, grandchildren, siblings, nieces, nephews, cousins, in-laws, friends, and the community at large in the adjacent parishes. We also have a letter from a grandson, Edward Crass. He is the son of Jack Crass Sr., who would like to be here to testify, but he has a medical He has a medical procedure today, and he cannot be here, but he's asking this board to relate to you that he is vehemently opposed to early release. Why haven't you taken any program in the last 4 years of your incarceration? According to my records, you have not taken anything since 2019. Can you tell me why?
I was enrolled in school, GED school. And
okay, great. You're working on your GED. Tell us about that.
I wasn't making no progress from 2016 to, I guess, up into 2020, 22, when the pandemic hit and things were shut down. And I'm still going.
And so you're working on your GED. At which level are you on now?
The lower scale. I don't come up near a high set.
Yeah. Now, question, Mr. Jenkins, are you in school full time?
No. In the evening.
Okay.
From 1:30, or I should say 12:30 to 3 before count time.
Continue to work. I'd like to see you get that high set because it's very important as far as your opportunities for employment if and when you're released. Mr. Jenkins, I didn't see a disciplinary report in my report. How many disciplinary write-ups have you had in the last 42 years?
19.
Okay, what was your last disciplinary write-up?
2008.
And what was that for?
It's a 30W. Sorry that it happened, and I paid restitution for it.
Okay, now 30W is inappropriate behavior. So tell me what the behavior was.
I put an X-Acto knife in my mouth, and when I was shaken down, the officer seen it in my mouth.
Okay. Were you injured?
No, sir.
Okay. Tell me what is your current work assignment? What is your current work assignment?
Repair the lawnmowers, weed eaters, and chainsaws, whatever small engine that they give me to do.
Okay, so you are certified in 4-stroke engines?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about drugs and alcohol. Have you ever been addicted to illegal drugs or alcohol?
No, sir.
You ever smoke marijuana?
No, sir.
You ever drink alcohol?
No, sir.
Tell me about your transition plan with the Louisiana Parole Project.
I plan on, when I get there, I plan on, they told me that they had, have at Parole Project, they have, a little lawnmower shop and they broke down. So I'll start there when I'm released to them. They will come and pick me up as well.
Now, Mr. Jenkins, is this a long-term transition plan or is this an initial transition plan? What is your permanent transition plan?
Plan on open a business in small engine repair.
Where?
And preferably in the Baton Rouge area, where the a lot of breakdowns occur during grass season and during the winter time.
I'm very familiar with that. Ms. Jenkins, tell me why this panel should vote to release you before you scheduled to, before you have a life sentence, so why should we release you early?
I've shown a demonstration of rehabilitation, and I'm sorry that this whole matter occurred. When released, I won't have no trouble sustaining myself in society. In fact, I'll be productive in more areas that I even think about, because I like to go to church, and I participate in all sort of church work. So,
Jay,
yes, sir.
tell us exactly why you're incarcerated.
Why am I incarcerated?
Yes, tell me why you're incarcerated. What did you do?
I killed a man crossing his property without permission, and a gunfight occurred, and Mr. Trash was hit, and I'm sorry that.
Jacob?
Yes, sir.
I think a little bit more than crossing a man's property. Did you break into his trailer?
No, sir.
You weren't, was that the first time you crossed that property?
No, I crossed it. He didn't see me. One time I crossed there, I was going hunting, squirrel hunting, and nobody seen me. It was another time that he seen me, and he started shooting.
And you didn't go on that property to break into his trailer?
No, sir.
One Ambo, one Falco, do you have any comments, observations?
Yes, sir. I can let you know that as far as the high set, he has no notable gains made. He's still on the M level. He's been dropping the school from the GED class 4 times for medical and excessive absence. And as far as that 30W that he told you about, it did not occur as a knife incident. It was a inappropriate comment that he made to a female officer.
lot different from having some contraband.
Sir?
That's a lot different from having some contraband.
Yes, sir, it is. That's all I have to say.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, now we'll hear from Mr. Kerry Meyer.
Yes, good morning. Kerry Myers with Louisiana Parole Project, here to let this board know that Mr. Jenkins is our client. We are prepared to offer Mr. Jenkins long-term support, help him be connected to all his services, including medical and other services. We'll help him find over time, as he gets connected to those services, long-term permanent housing. Mr. Jenkins was 15 years old when he committed this crime. He except for his GED, lack of GED, he would be eligible under Act 277. Instead, he is here under Act 544 because he also qualifies as a 10-6 lifer. At 16 years old, he did escape from Angola, which was, I don't know what I would do at 16 years old back in the 1970s if I was in Angola. But he saw an opportunity and he did leave and led a productive life while he was gone, with no incidences since he's returned to Angola. He's also been productive, and he's a Class A trustee. He has had very few incidences of disciplinary actions. He's been practically a model inmate. He's got a learning disability, which is one of the reasons he has documented learning disability, which one of the reasons he still struggles to get his GED. But he does have a skill. He does have this talent in engine repair, and we are prepared to help him find employment and find long-term housing. So we just ask this board to consider this in granting his parole today.
All right, thank you. Right now, we'll hear from Ms. Beverly Ann Trask. You can make your 3-minute statement.
I'm Beverly Trask, and I am the youngest of the 2 children, Eddie and James Trask. I'm here to speak on behalf of our generation for the Eddie Trask family. I am appreciative of this opportunity to speak before you. We've been always, since 1984, appeared at these various clemency or pardoning hearings. We've always appeared in person, and we are here today in person to show support to my father, my mother Jean Trask, and my brother Jack Trask. On behalf of my family, I want to make a plea, a strong, heartfelt plea not to grant parole for Leroy Jenkins. And we do this not out of revenge. We don't do it because of hate. We do it because we thought, we believe that our society and our justice system, we thought that this life sentence was the appropriate action in one person takes another person's life. At the time of his death, I was 22 years old. I'm now 74. And I value every breath I take. I think human life is very precious. And it's unimaginable how someone can take another person's life. When we first met as a family to plan what we were going to do with the original date, which was December 14th of 2022, I didn't want to I feel it's a victim. I feel like my mother and father were the victims. And I quickly learned from my family. They said, my niece, which is actually here now, I have children. She's 50 years old. At the time of my grandfather's death, my dad's death, they were 4 years old. They heard the stories of a man with a stocking over his head. He come on the property and to shoot pup traps. They killed pup traps. I saw father and my brother's anguish, the tears. They couldn't believe this happened. My mother and father moved in the wrong place at the wrong time. They were in the same place, their home. At the time of the killing in 1971, my nephew was 8 years old. He wanted very badly to be here today. He's now close to 60 years old, and he used to play on that property all the time. And he would have been there the day of the shooting, but his parents said, "No, Jack, you got to come and folks placing your other grandkids." He often thinks, what would have happened to me had mother and grandpa had to deal with it. He could have lost his life too. He said, every time I leave from my house, I look around to make certain that you're not proud of me. My mother and father were out there, they didn't have place where even his cell phones out there, they didn't have one. So if they, excuse me. I actually picked it back on track to the fear that I gained for these children who are giving me strength to say this. I repeat that there have been numerous. I think this is the 7th, 8th below program that I've been to. I've been to Angola. I've been in the same room with Leroy Jenkins. And when I was there, I never saw anybody. I never saw any remorse over the years. There were times, and very recently, in 2013, there was angst. I'm not saying violence, but there was angst. It was as though the accusations as existed here that my father shot him. What happened to you? I once again, no more his trying to be helpful. But at the same time, I've also been told that sometimes they folks with me is too much to say. And I'm really difficult to believe that that can be the case. Here, about the act of rehabilitation. He simply wants to get out of prison. I mentioned also there have been numerous proceedings that have taken place. That in my feelings, the most recently was May 28th of 2021. That is not a hearing, but it was a court case. I got these documentations for Britain, Louisiana, from the public court. I try to keep abreast of what is going on. At that particular time, he and his lawyer wanted a lessening of sentences, they wanted a plea of innocence. And this one, we then go to my mother's letter. And this was written in 1984. I was with my mother at the clemency hearing, and he would become the next position for Chicago back to Louisiana. My mother read this. She was a witness there. And she spoke for me.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead and wrap up. Let's go ahead and wrap up.
I get the state prison. The documentation for proceedings in 1988 that was led by Gary Gazelle, he made some accusation that he was using the community. He just thought he was supposed to be released. That he doesn't have any record. I find numerous times to get accounts from him over the regard to this estate. I go down to this attachment A for this original document written by the back. There's someone here that recognized what we got. The name of the estate. My brother, you're not believing that after 175 days. All throughout the 90s in this time, my brother would continue to go to see what was being done at the state of Louisiana. The day that he escaped, there were no state police was notified. It was very close to Christmas, so they was road. My brother even needed 2 guards walking 40 inmates. He said his dad had wanted everything to leave the state. I'm devastated. My brother, he was out of stress. He was 42 years old. I go back to this letter, and I want to thank you for because this is the only document that I have. I've been looking at this letter for 35 plus years. This is my mother. There, she the first one to see the picture, and she wrote it through. He lists here, but she said there was a man who was stopping over his head down, and she came up with impact and with the gun pointed in my pocket. He said, my husband said, look, to get to sit, I make money or whatever. And he would give it to him. We had it, he just cashed his social security. My aunt Gladys, who is Lynn's mother, had seen me one day to walk through. So he was walking my hand with a check bag. He made his way up and he was reading. We was playing, it was cremated and stopping over the I would stop saying. It's just one piece. Speech. He's my mother, father, they're being in these here. We've been through victims do that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much for your comment. Thank you. So, Mr. Quiller, would you like to make a statement?
Good morning. My name is Sam DeQuilla. I'm the district attorney for East and West Louisiana here. Although I was not the district attorney when this murder occurred, I am the district attorney for East and West Louisiana here since 2003. I'm here today on behalf of the victims of this case. Mr. Myers would attest to the compassion that our office has written that he personally attests to that. He knows our office. He knows the feelings of our office when it comes to the inmates. He knows compassion that we have the victims of crime. Mr. Eddie Trask lost his life July 3rd, 1971. He's not here. Mr. Jenkins is here. He's 67 years old. He served 41 years in prison. And I don't really need to relate that to you. You know that. You decided it. And we're here today to determine whether he can be paroled eligible at this time. I have compassion for the victims. The victims have contacted our office. They expressed their interest that they prove the release of Mr. Jenkins. Our office stands behind them. That's what we did. That's the criminal justice system. We told them, my predecessor told them when he was incarcerated that he would be serving life in prison. It is difficult for me to face them and tell them at this time he may be parole eligible, he may be paroled. It's very difficult for me to understand. The victim, speaking on behalf of the victim, I have compassion for them. Mr. Jenkins, I don't have a lot of compassion for them. He made a decision July 3rd, 1971 to kill Mr. Trask. He did that. He served 175 days in prison. He escaped. And he lived a life. He lived a life outside of Louisiana for roughly 9.5 years. He was employed. He was a good member of society. He had children. He lived his life. Mr. Trask was not able to live his life. And I have no compassion for him. He stated he attended some programs, rehabilitational programs. I didn't hear very many rehabilitational programs that he attended. Anger management. Anger management. What is that? He dropped out of the program without the out in 4 times. He had quite a few write-ups. I had no compassion for him. He made a decision that he has consequences that he has to suffer for that. He knew what the consequences were. He knew the consequences, and he escaped from prison for 9.5 years. It is very difficult to tell the family he's going to jail for life. He escaped. We're going to just pat him on the back now because he's 67 years old, and we're just going to let him out. I have difficulty understanding that and agreeing with that. I plead this board to keep Mr. Jenkins incarcerated. If you decide to let him out, if you decide to grant him parole eligibility, I think that you ought to at least wait 9.5 years before you do that. Because he was out as a free man for 9.5 years. I think it's premature at this time for the board to even consider that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your comment. All right, we'll hear from Mr. Jenkins, and then Ms. Claire, you can wrap up at the end. Like to make a statement, Mr. Jenkins?
Yes, sir. I apologize to the Trask family, each and every one of them. And I hate that they have hard feelings for me, but I can understand it. I probably would have the same feelings if that had happened to my dad. It was a moment that I couldn't think from right and wrong. I acted on my emotions, and when I was pushed in a corner, looked like I just couldn't control myself. I'm different now, and I believe that I can be productive in society without trouble with the justice system. In fact, I know I could, and I've proven that. So, quick and short, in a nutshell, I'm sorry that I brought this about. I wish it had never happened. If I could turn things around, I would. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Ms. Claire, would you like to wrap?
I would. Before I make a few comments, I would like for Mr. Jenkins to clarify a point that we talked about earlier with his prior discipline record. Mr. Jenkins, were you confused about the final incident on your write-up report when you were explaining what happened that led to the incident?
Yes, I believe I did.
Yeah, would you like to clarify for the board why you were confused and what happened?
That may have occurred on 2007, but the incident, I have to swap it around now. That incident at W30W, I recall that, but I thought the first one came before, and I was confused about that.
And we appreciate the warden pointing that out, that we were confused as to which was the last discipline write-up, and we wanted to clarify for the board that Mr. Jenkins acknowledges that and takes responsibility for that, and he doesn't dispute that that was the final write-up.
All right, thank you for clarifying that.
Thank you. My name is Claire. I'm here on behalf of Mr. Jenkins. We're here today because Mr. Jenkins, Leroy Jenkins, is asking to be released on parole. He's eligible for parole under Act 544. The legislature in Louisiana has made a policy decision, and it is their intent that people like Leroy, people who committed crimes before 1972, who pled guilty to those crimes and who are now, quite frankly, old men, be released or eligible for parole. He meets that criteria. Additionally, Mr. Leroy Jenkins is a juvenile lifer. He's not eligible for release under the juvenile lifer statutes, but he meets the Supreme Court guidance and standards on release for juveniles. And when we're looking at juvenile lifers, we look at their demonstrated maturity and rehabilitation. I've included in our briefing a photograph of Leroy that is his mugshot. If you've had a chance to review it, you'll see he was a young man in that picture. He no longer presents as that person today. You can see the physical changes that Leroy has undergone since 1971. What we cannot see with our eyes this morning are the changes that have gone on inside Leroy's brain, of growth, maturity, changes that time gives us. So we have seen the changes in Leroy physically and mentally. He is no longer a young 15-year-old man. How do we know that he is no longer the 15-year-old that committed this crime in 1971? Well, we can listen to what Leroy has told us, both before today and today. He's written a letter, which I've included in the parole packet, and I'm going to read several quotes from it. Leroy writes, Mr. Trask's life was taken in an uncontrolled moment by a misguided teenager that had no control over his emotions. I've included in the parole packet doctor's notes that show Mr. Jenkins has learning handicaps and is of low intelligence. That, combined with what we know about juveniles, contributed to where Mr. Jenkins, we find ourselves today. But Mr. Jenkins is no longer that person. Again, he writes, I am not that reckless and irresponsible juvenile that I was back then. I've grown to know that a person must put foolish and unlearned things behind them and strive for a better outlook on life. I am no longer that reckless and unstable boy. I have matured completely. I can't be caught up like this, never again. Mr. Leroy has told us that he is no longer that person, but we have more. We can look at his conduct. His assessments from the prison are low risk. He has not had a disciplinary write-up since 2008. He is a trustee, and he has been a trustee for years. He participates actively in religion classes. He has continued to pursue his GED despite learning handicaps. He does continue to do that. He is engaged in programming while he continues to work and work towards his GED. He has learned valuable technical and job skills. He is a small engine mechanic, and he's ready to put those skills to use by getting employment. Not only has he learned technical skills, but he has gained through life skills, through the prison and meeting other inmates working here, emotional intelligence skills that he did not have when he was 15 years old. He is able and ready to implement those skills to live in the community. He has a release plan. We heard from Mr. Myers. The parole project is ready and able to take Mr. Leroy on, to work with him, to spend a month. Mr. Myers and I spoke yesterday, again, at length about Leroy. The first month of Mr. Leroy's release will be spent in intense programming to prepare Leroy to the ways of the world today in 2023. We know that it is very different than when he went into prison in 1971 and has remained since the 80s for 41 years. It is a different life. The parole project is ready to set Mr. Leroy up with housing, to work with him to get his driver's license, his social security, his paperwork, his SSI, things that he is eligible for to become a member of the community. The final comment.
Go ahead and wrap up now.
The final comments I have to make this morning are on a personal level. I've represented Mr. Jenkins for 10 years. He's the first client that I ever had, and he has been a very patient and trusting client. But he's not only been a client, he has been a friend of mine for 10 years since I have met him. From knowing Leroy, I know that he is trustworthy, he is kind, he has integrity, he is honest, he has patience, empathy, compassion, he is hardworking, and he has commitment. Those traits in Leroy, we've spent a lot of time this morning talking about how Leroy has changed over the years. Those are fundamental to Leroy Jenkins as a person, as who he is as a person. Those traits have not wavered. Those traits have not changed. I have not seen any of those differences waver or seek to manipulate. Those are core to Leroy Jenkins, and those are the indicators of Mr. Jenkins' success once he is released. So we, again, ask you to grant Mr. Jenkins parole this morning. He is eligible under Act 544. He has demonstrated that he is mature. He has demonstrated that he has rehabilitated himself, that he is no longer the 15-year-old that he was in 1971.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your comment. Panel prepared to vote?
Yes,
Mr. Roche?
thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Jenkins, I'm quite a bit older than you.
Yes, sir.
And I think you remember exactly what happened on that day and the day before, because you were seen on that property the day before. And you went back with a stolen 35 caliber rifle. And you were behind the trailer, and when Mr. Pass came, you shot him. And you told me this morning that you were walking across the property to go to another area, and you were only walking across this property. Why did you have a 25 caliber rifle in your possession if you didn't intend to use it? When I asked you what happened in Chicago, my records and your criminal record showed that you were convicted of impersonating a police officer and was sentenced to 1 year in Illinois DOC. Your criminal record shows that. You were not truthful. You didn't take responsibility for what you did in July of 1971. There's a lack of rehabilitative program. I only see anger management, $100 fee relief, and thinking for a change. You need additional programs. You need victim awareness. You need moral compass. You need more programs. You have adamant express opposition from the entire victim's family. You have opposition from the legal community in 4 different parishes: East Louisiana, West Louisiana, Washington, and Tangible Hall. The judge, the DA's office, the sheriff's offices in those parishes are in opposition. And basically, I didn't think you took full responsibility for what you did to do back in 1971. Therefore, I'm going to deny your request based on what I've just mentioned.
Ms. Renata?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Jenkins, I agree with Mr. Roche. I don't believe you've been forthcoming with us today. I don't think you told us the truth. In out of respect for your attorney, there's no doubt he's eligible for parole under the act that you mentioned. And we do note that he was a juvenile when he committed this crime. And we have been well trained in the guidance provided by the Supreme Court on what we are to look for and giving them a meaningful opportunity for parole consideration. However, in this case, because he hasn't been truthful with us, what happened, it was not impetuous activity on his part. He planned this. I don't see that he has the demonstrated maturity and rehabilitation that is required. For those reasons and for the opposition that's been expressed here today, my vote is to deny his parole.
I have 2 votes to deny your parole. I'm also going to deny your parole for the same reasons as stated. Law enforcement victim opposition needs more programming. Just what didn't come with what and forthcoming. So 3 votes to deny today. Your parole's been denied. Good luck to you. It's 9:29. We'll adjourn it. Louisiana State Penitentiary. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh boy. Okay. And that look where he looks at his attorney, where she looks at him, and we'll go over the appeal of this offense so we can dive into the truth of what happened that day all those years ago. But he is still locked up at 69 years of age in Angola. And I imagine we might see him sometime soon But I have to tell you, it is shocking. I mean, watching the live chat and then watching this hearing again, I think we were all feeling the same way. And the parole board, it wouldn't have helped her that she shows up late to a parole hearing. You don't do that. She shows up late. They wait for her. Then when she's there, she's whispering in the microphone. And how many parole hearings have we have to have seen without ever hearing someone whisper into that microphone, whispering at the worst times, actually interrupting him while he was speaking to, I think, only help or encourage to derail him when he was meant to say the truth about what happened that day. Remember how she interjected, say sorry? He might have gotten to the truth had she not interjected. And then at the end there, she starts off by giving him an opportunity to correct what happened with the write-ups, which is just a really bad move. I mean, we're all here. We all see what kind of parole hearing he's giving. And then she puts him on stage again. Tell the parole board what you meant. And what did he say? He's like, I got confused of the write-ups. I mean, she could have simply said that he was confused. Let me get more off my chest about her because she's really, I think, was just driving all of us nuts. Like nails on a chalkboard, I saw many comments in there. She goes on to, it seemed, lecture the parole board, which aggravated, I think, Ms. Renazza. Ms. Renazza was stating that we know the laws, we know the rules. Keep in mind, she says that he was her very first client. For 10 years, she's been representing him. 10 years. She would have had the opportunity to prepare for this parole hearing. Did she not take a moment to watch a parole hearing and see how they're conducted and to see how they work and to see like what they look to see, for example? I mean, there are so many different ways I think that one could have approached this parole hearing. And to start, he would have had a speech written by her that would have said what he did and that he was wrong. That's it. Enough. Then she could have coached him into making sure that he had a couple of more programs leading up to his hearing. And then all he would have had to have done at that point is say that he was 15 years old. He was wrong, but he was 15. He then could have said he escaped Angola because he was 15. And it would have been hell for him to be in Angola at 15 in the 70s. Think about the hell it would have been for him. I think everyone could understand why he would escape. Then as the attorney, I would have brought up that he lived a successful life. He got married. He had children. Now, the part where he impersonated a police officer, I don't know how you get around that. I thought that he only applied to be a police officer. Mr. O'Shea said in his jacket it's that he impersonated. I probably would have tried to have brought some clarity around that because impersonation of a police officer is never good. Now, keep in mind, he would have only been 25 years old at that point. But he does something which gets him extradited back to Angola, Louisiana, where he then now has been serving and really rotting in prison for the past, the math, but I think 40 years for a murder that he committed when he was 15. And it's not let's go over the appeal. Let's go over the appeal because I think is that what you guys want to do right now? I think that's what can be most helpful. But I had to get it off my chest. That attorney and her performance was, I think, one of the worst. It's got to be top there in the top 3. I mean, I'm sure there were somewhere. Like it makes me feel like it's the worst one was the woman, the attorney was holding the guy's leg in her arm for the entire time. Okay, let's go over the appeal. So Leroy Jenkins, a 15-year-old resident, was charged in a grand jury of indictment of murder committed on July 3rd, 1971. So, imagine being a 15-year-old boy and being in Angola in 1970s. It was the wild, wild west. It would have been a living hell for him, for anyone, especially a 15-year-old. Now, a sanity commission was appointed, and the defendant was found competent to stand trial. He then entered a plea of not guilty and not guilty by reason of insanity, which is okay. Later, he withdrew that plea to enter a plea of guilty to avoid capital punishment. On March 1st, 1972, he was sentenced to imprisonment and hard labor for balance of his natural life. Now, we'll go over the facts of the case. We're just seeing how the different appeals he tried. But now let's go to the statement of facts. So because of the defendant's guilty plea, many of the facts and circumstances of the crime are undeveloped. So he never went to trial, which I think would be the first thing at this point. You would have said he, of course, should have gone to trial. But like capital punishment or spend the rest of your life in prison, I think when you're 15 years old, you take it to trial. This is not a death penalty case. So, he probably got screwed right there. But neither here nor there. I'm just, I'm playing it from thinking about it. This is 1970s Louisiana. He should have had a trial. Especially the case is a bit sketchy. It's not typical. Okay, so because of the defense guilty plea, many of the facts and circumstances of the crime are undeveloped. Evidence in the records demonstrate that in early July 1971, the defendant went to the home of Edward Trask, the victim, in Norwood, Louisiana, to burglarize his home. The defendant was unarmed at this time. After Mr. Trask saw the defendant, he shot at the defendant, who then ran away. On July 3rd, 1971, Mr. Trask again found the defendant on his property. The defendant was armed with a .22 caliber rifle. Mr. Trask had a .22 caliber revolver. Mr. Trask accosted, let's see what this is. The defendant, and when he did, the defendant raised his rifle. Mr. Trask first fired several shots at the defendant, none of which struck the defendant. So again, the victim said that he saw the defendant pick up his rifle. He pulled out his revolver, fired, missed. Defendant has a rifle. The defendant then fires at Mr. Trask, striking him twice. Mr. Trask's wife, who observed the confrontation between the two men, got into her car and drove to find help. Though the defendant tried to stop her, he did not shoot at her. The defendant then returned to Mr. Trask, took his wallet containing several $100s, and fled to Mississippi. I think it does say something. He didn't shoot at her, but he did take his wallet, and several $100s would have been a lot of money at the time. And he left the state. But Mr. Trask died before help arrived. A few days later, the defendant was apprehended near Woodsville, Mississippi. After he pled guilty, was sentenced, and began serving his sentence, the defendant escaped from Angola and subsequently fled to Chicago. He remained in Chicago for nearly a decade until he was apprehended by authorities after applying to become a Chicago police officer. He returned to Louisiana State Prison. So here again, it shows that he was applying to be a police officer, not that he was impersonating a police officer. And again, isn't that interesting? His attorney didn't correct Mr. O'Shea there, but I don't think his attorney not correcting Mr. O'Shea, saying no, he never impersonated a police officer. He only applied. I didn't get the sense that she was competent enough to make the correction, even if that was the correction. But it, of course, makes a huge difference. Impersonating a police officer or applying to be one who's two very different things. But again, his attorney, he did such a poor job. You're just really left not knowing what's going on. Now, they don't see anything. There's no more information in this case. Now, I got to tell you, this sounded a little different than what Mr. O'Shea said. This sounded like he was a kid. He was there. They're saying that he was allegedly there to steal something. He got shot at. right? He ran away and came back with a gun. Now, is it possible that he was just a 15-year-old kid walking around that got shot at and came back pissed off? I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like an attorney going to trial, like something could have been here, but that's what we have. What do you guys think? Let me look at the chat. I missed the chat. It's interesting. He's not the worst of the worst. He's not even close to it. We have seen the most horrible crimes where people who serve even half the time get paroled. But in this case, I think it was an accumulation of things. I think it was him having a horrible parole hearing, a horrible attorney doing a horrible job representing him, starting off by being late, which just pissed everybody off. And it was like, it felt like nails on a chalkboard. It felt like you were getting your tooth pulled. And I was just, I was anxious. I was having anxiety from the hearing. It was just, but it, right. I mean, it was a different story. No, I mean, I mean, what Mr. O'Shea said and what is said in the appeal seems to be different. Maybe Mr. O'Shea has a police report, but the bottom line is that what they say happens is not so cut and dry, And again, his attorney did him no favors because some context could have made a difference here. July 1971, the defendant went to the home, the victim, to burglarize the home. Now, again, this would be, there's no police report. Like imagine defending this. They could have said, well, did you call the police? When he how do you know he was going there to burglarize his home? Did he steal anything? Right there. Imagine if you had a proper defense. The defendant was unarmed. Mr. Trask saw the defendant and shot at him and ran away. So what you have here in reality is a man shooting at a 15-year-old boy. That's what you have. I mean, in today's day and age, the man would have gotten arrested for that. Okay, I mean, let's be real. Then what you have is the next day, on July 3rd, he finds the defendant again on his property, but this time the defendant's armed with a 22. So Mr. O'Shea was wrong because Mr. O'Shea said it was a 25. But neither here nor there. And now, of course, it doesn't make a difference because you have the kid now going back with the rifle, which you have to assume he was going with the rifle to kill him. And you can't. You have to assume that's what he was doing, right? And he wasn't honest. He said, oh, I was squirrel hunting and I got shot at. So, that part he just wasn't being honest. But what's crazy is that how do you have a lawyer who claims to be representing you and your friend for 10 years and you show up you show up with nothing. You show up with nothing. You show up with a lie. It blows my mind, but we see this all the time. You see it with the parole project representation. I don't know if she was a parole project lawyer, but I cannot get over it. It's laziness by the attorney, or it's ineptitude, or it's this is just my opinion, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what her situation is. It's off of the little information that we saw from this parole hearing. But how can you genuinely say he's my first client, 10 years, and how are you not virtue signaling when you do that? Are you telling all your friends back home, oh, I have this attorney, this client I take pro bono, which I don't know. Could be he pays her. I'm speculating. Oh, this poor kid, blah, blah, blah. I'm doing so much to get him out. But meanwhile, he shows up to his parole hearing without even a prepared speech. it's just such crap. Because I think a prepared speech it would have been a different outcome. I think that he just flunked his parole hearing so poorly. It was such a bad performance. It felt induced by his attorney that he got denied. I don't know. What's your opinion? I feel like my chat stopped. I don't know if I see anything. Well, right. So Joanna's saying no. He ambushed him and ran off with his wallet. Yeah, that probably is what happened. He ambushed him and ran off with his wallet. I mean, that does seem like what, because he came back with a rifle. So he might have been pissed off. It could be he actually was. I guess. But he served. He was 15. He got up for 10 years. So he served almost 40 years. We've seen so much worse get out. Her saying he wrote what she read didn't help you out. What a horrible hearing. You guys remember that hearing with the two guys? This one forever sticks with me. Two guys, friends, they both end up getting paroled. They killed their girlfriend, so they tried to force the girlfriend to have a threesome. She was like, what the hell? I have like no interest in this. When she tried to escape in the car, they smashed through the car window, dragged her out, and then together they killed her. And they did it for no reason. It was just out of nowhere. And they were paroled. And their parole hearing was horrendous. They were basically like no emotion, not even, it was just, and they had served, I think, about 20 years. Yeah, PETAs get out for basically no time at all. He's 69 today, Jams. 69 years old and in Angola. Yeah, Alex. She was just a teenager. They're all teenagers. And there was no reason to, it was just barbarity. And that was the one where one of them had the attorney fondling him and the other one had married the attorney. One says you just need to add a PDF charge and then you'll get out. That's true. Yeah. So I don't know. This has been a fun live stream. We're going 2.5 hours, so we'll have to end it soon. But we went over the recent jail breaks, the information Lady Holly and Sir Rich provided, the fact that another inmate had escaped, a real monster. So they have another inmate. How many inmates escaped in 2025? I think we're at like over 30 already. And it's really embarrassing for Louisiana. I do wonder how many escaped. Let's see if Grok knows. Let me ask Grok if this is a data. How many? Let's ask Grok. How many? Which U.S. state has the most jail and prison escapes? Is Louisiana on top of the list? I wonder if this data is available, but let's see. Yeah. There isn't enough definitive data from provided references to general knowledge to pinpoint which U.S. state has the highest number of jail and prison escapes historically or currently. Isn't that funny? There's not enough data. Like, in a world of data, there obviously should be enough data, but no one's publicizing it. Everyone's going to keep that kind of stuff on the down low, right? Because no one benefits except the entire population in which that escape happened in for it to be public. But shh, don't say anything. Let's see what it goes on else to say. A recent escape in May 1620 involved 10 inmates, one of the largest such incidents in the state's recent history. Another notable escape occurred in 1968 when 21 inmates fled Orleans Parish Prison. In 1999, 4 death row. Wow! In 1999, 4 death row inmates escaped from Louisiana, from Angola. Wow! In 1994 death row inmates. I'm just reading this from Grok. Escaped from Angola in 1999, but they were quickly recaptured. You know, it's even Grok doesn't have the answers. It's kind of a lie. Grok is saying this is the most. So Grok says a recent escape on May 10th, which involved 10 inmates, is one of the largest, and it is one of the largest. But just earlier this year, they had 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They had 6 inmates escape. You see the spreadsheet? Like, no one was talking about it for whatever reason, but just earlier this year, on 1/2/2025, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inmates escape, all from the same jail. That's only 4 inmates less. And this is this year. This was 4 months ago. And an inmate escaped 2 days before that. Oh no, this would have been, well, what? Maybe this is wrong. 131. This is how many inmates escaped in 2025. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then that's not including the 10, which is 24, and that's not including this guy right here, the one that just escaped Friday. 25 inmates have escaped Louisiana jails in the last 5 months. 5 months. 25. Yeah, Oliver, they escaped death row. I don't know how you escape death row. How does that happen? I mean, Angola's a compound. Oh my gosh. Sir Richard just entered the spreadsheet again. You guys see him? I always love seeing his emoji show up right here. It's like, what's up, Sir Richard? Oh, man. Everyone wish Christina do a happy birthday. It's Christina's 30th birthday today. She is 30 years young. And tomorrow it is, yeah, buddy Jesse's birthday. Jesse. Yeah, you know, you're right, Christina. Carol Dew would be so sad to have missed this. This is totally up Carol Dew's alley. Right, sorry, Glitter's right. It's Christina's 20th birthday. So Junobi, we did an update. Well, there weren't any latest arrests. There was. So these are the people who have been arrested for assisting the breakouts. So as you see here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 arrested. You have Trayvon Williams, Emmett Weber, Sterling Williams, Casey Smith, Courtney Harris, Corvante Baptiste, and Connie Whedon. They're all going to get the books thrown at them. Oh, she's the grandmother of, you can see here, Lady Holly has all the research. This one is a good photo of her grandson who's an escapee. Let's see. Oh, here it is. So she don't look too happy. That's a foul look right there. Fofo. Falfa. She found out. And let's see. Another suspect has been arrested who pulled off during an escape. Connie Wheatson is accused of helping the fugitive, specifically Jermaine Donald, one of the 5 escapees. Friday morning, she is facing felony count accessory to the fact and booked to St. Tammany Parish Jail. A group of inmates were discovered during the routine head count. Actually escaped hours earlier. The subsequent investigation escape revealed Wheatson was in communication with Donald both before and after the escape. Authorities said she also transferred him money by the way of a cell phone app. Wow. So not the sharpest tool in the shed. Let me send you money through an app. You can love your grandchild and everything, but are you really going to send money through an app and not think that they're going to figure that one out? Her arrest marked the 3rd civilian jailed in connection with the case. Suspected Courtney Harris, 38, Ol Baptiste, were also arrested with felony counts being accessory after the fact. This guy's, I don't know how he's still out. The pair accused of providing support and transportation to other escapees, and they have been booked in Plaquemines? I know it's not pronounced that way, but I can't pronounce this. Plaquemine Parish Detention Center, officials said. Law enforcement personnel from multiple local, state, and federal agencies will continue to pursue every lead until the remaining fugitives are located. State police said those who choose to assist to conceal the individuals violating the law will be held accountable. Harboring fugitives threatens the safety of our communities and will not be tolerated. Yet, having jails that are not properly staffed and are not properly maintained, that's okay, everybody. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here at all. Those inmates on the run include Donald, Antoine, Lentoine, Derek, Leo, Tate, and Donald is facing short second-degree murder. Yeah. What else did I miss here? 4 families members were arrested today. Oh, really? Let's see. 4 family members arrested. They're just arresting entire communities now. 4 family members arrested in Louisiana. Let me pull that up. Okay, let's pull that up.
News contributor and former NYPD inspector Paul Morrow. Paul, welcome.
Thank you.
So let's start in New Orleans. What's striking to me is the help that these guys apparently had breaking out of jail and the assistance they apparently have received since they've been on the run. What's your assessment of that case?
Well, prisoner escapes always have help, either inside or outside, or potentially both. In this case, it looks like they had both, so no surprise there. The delayed processing of the crime scene, the escape scene, is really unfortunate because according to all of the reporting, that panel...
I can't. By the way, I have no patience for mainstream media when they bring on experts and then the expert comes on and is like, well, escaping jail is a really serious thing, you see. And then they go on to say everything that is so freaking obvious. I don't have patience for it. I'm not going to watch it. It's just something I can't do. I can't do it. Like, that's not reporting. It's just not. Let's bring on our expert to tell us that escaping from jail is bad, everybody. But let's see what they said. So 4 more arrests in connection with prison break. New Orleans this weekend, the 4 arrests made a total of 11 people who have been accused of helping either inmates either or before, during, and after the escape. The arrests include these people. Authorities, executive search warrant, New Orleans escaped inmates. I don't know. They don't really. It's just, I guess, for escape, but they don't really go over it. It seems like everyone hates that too, right? You're aligned with me. It really is. It's like every news agency, these like Fox News, CNN, whatever it is, it's the mainstream news. They fill like hours and hours of segments of having experts talk to us like we're 5 years old, and it's like, well, murdering someone is bad and escaping jail is very bad. But what we have to understand here is that escaping from jail, if you were once in jail, is worse than bad. So with my PhDs now, because I have many PhDs, I'm very smart, and you're paying me to come on the show to talk about how bad it is to escape from jail. Everyone has to be very vigilant. I would advise you to lock your doors and to be safe. Make sure that you're safe and extra vigilant. Don't answer the door if someone knocks and you don't know who they are. And it's like, wow, thank you for letting us know that it's bad to escape from jail. Thank you, expert, for telling us. I feel much better now. I'm going to make sure I don't open my door if I don't recognize the person. And that's pretty much news for you. Right. Yeah, the experts demo cutting concrete with hair trimmers. Yeah, I would like to see that. But that's the truth. That's the downfall of the mainstream media. It's so pathetic. It's like no one cares to listen to this guy in a suit talk about how escaping from jail is bad. Um, you can go on YouTube and you can literally see actual inmates talk about actually escaping jail. Like you'll get that on YouTube in a second. Um, yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, spot on. Thanks. It is fun. It's clowns, right? What I guess so. Uh, One odds place. I mean, that's pretty much it. The only difference between me and those experts is I'm not getting paid to talk about it, right? Well, it's like jail escape. It's funny. Like how many of you have heard mainstream media talking about how many other escapes have been in Louisiana? Like, wouldn't you think that that's something other people should be talking about? Or how many times in the news have you heard um, like that this person had 4 escapes in their jacket or 4 bodies in their jacket? Or it's like they leave those things out for whatever reason. Like they're afraid to mention it, or they don't do their research to know to mention it. I don't know what it is. Um, right, or know that they're missing for 4 hours is bad. Exactly, Alex. I, they need to really do a better job on the jails, and it's like just have some real reporting. In the beginning of this episode, what we did is we clearly articulated how Louisiana has a history of jailbreaks. How this year alone they have had one day where 6 people escaped from jail, where the jails have like how people are basically escaping every month. There's multiple breakouts, and then why and how they're escaping. And it's like clearly this is the issue. The rot goes deep, the dysfunction goes deep. There are going back in the past decade, there have been dozens of escapes, and it's all happening for more or less the same reason. But they're not talking about that. Instead, it's like what happens all the time. People get mad. They yell, rah, 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 make noise, rah, rah, rah. Let's blame the lowest ranking denominator in the situation. Again, like I'm not aware if someone higher than the rank of sergeant has been fired yet. And it, and it versus like, well, why aren't you investigating the highest ranking people? Wouldn't it be the like I don't know what the ranks would be, but wouldn't it, if it's like who's in charge? I mean, the bucks really should stop at the governor. You would think the governor should take some responsibility, um, but where does the buck stop? I don't know. Bath time. Yeah, I'll let you guys go. We've been here a long time. I have family coming over. We're gonna do a barbecue, so I do have to go. I've been here for almost 3 hours, so I gotta go help out. But yeah, buddy Jesse, exactly. Escaping through the same hole. They probably are all escaping. Well, we have to seal. The expert needs to come on. We have to seal the hole. I am an expert, and I will tell you all that we have to seal that hole that they're all escaping from. See, that is imperative. And remember, if they knock on your door and it's Tattoo Face over there, don't answer the door. Oh God, I can't already. This stuff. Thank you, Alex, for the memberships. Thank you, Walnut's Place. I appreciate you saying that. It's bedtime for Tracy Newman. It's good. I guess you're in the UK, Tracy. Yeah, exactly. Experts. Okay, Jesse. We'll leave that comment for the G-rated. They missed lunch. They were being served meatloaf. So, anyways, thank you guys. We're not going to do a stream tonight at 7. Tomorrow, I don't know if we'll do a stream or not. I think we will. I guess we will. Monday night, right? We'll do a stream. Oh, Grandpa Do? Should I get Grandpa Do on the phone? Let me see. Maybe we can get Grandpa Do on the phone. Hold on. Let's see if Grandpa Do. Maybe Grandpa Do can jump on a call with us. Maybe we can get Grandpa Do. Yep, tomorrow. Let's see if Grandpa Do will say hello before we go. Grandpa Do you have a moment? I'm doing a stream right now. Oh, you're playing cards. You're always busy. Well, I'm going to put you on speakerphone. They all can hear you. It's on live stream, and then I'll let you go. Just say I love you and something of encouragement. Okay, hold on. Let me put you on speaker. Okay, you're live, Grandpa.
I'd like to say to all my fellow veterans out there, Happy Memorial Day. We owe a lot to those guys that never came back. We're lucky that we did. I hope everybody is enjoying this kind of nice day, thoughtful, but sometimes picnicky and joyful that we're here in the United States and we're still doing great. And I hope that we have many more.
Yes,
Over
sir.
and out.
Over and out.
Yes, sir.
They're all saying they love you. Oh, he hung up on me. You know, he has a girlfriend. He has a girlfriend like 10 years younger than him. And he's like, I'm playing cards with Paula. And she gets a little upset. I call him a lot, and I call during usually around 5 o'clock. They do happy hour, and she gets annoyed because I. It's kind of funny. He has a younger girlfriend getting annoyed that her grandson's calling, but I think it's cute. She's keeping him young. He's 95, and as you can tell, he's full of energy. No, cards is not a code word. He told me that part of his life stopped a long time ago. No, he doesn't play poker. He plays bridge. He plays what's he play? There's a game that he plays. It's 4-player game. Is that bridge where you have teams? He's won 4 in a row, guys. He's won 4 in a row. So I think it's 4 weeks in a row where he's won each game. Thank you, Michelle. Because I would get mad trying to get a phone. No, he doesn't put spades. I don't think it's spades. What's up, Grandma? How you doing? Canasta? No, I don't think so. Pinch, multi, spades, or heart? Maybe hearts. Is it possible it's hearts? I think it's a game where the game that he plays now, he's not playing it now because he's playing just with Paula. But bridge. Yes, bridge. I think it's bridge. That sounds right. Bridge. It's the game where you have a teammate and you need to like get a certain amount of points or something, and you have to work as a team to you bid on cards or something. He talks about bidding. So it's bridge. Okay, yeah. So he's won 4 in a row. He's so busy. He's got more energy. I don't know. I don't know how he does. No, not crazy aids because I remember that. I think it's bridge. But anyways, I should probably go. So we'll do it. We'll do a stream tomorrow night. And thank you all for being here. This is a lot of fun. I don't do live streams very often. I don't really, I don't. But it's fun. It's fun. I love you guys. I love you too much. Happy birthday again, Christina. And with that, I'll let you go.